how do we make this effective and even fun? And like, how do we get out of our own way when it comes to hiring and building a team?
All right. Great segue. I was taking notes there. I like your triangle. That's in the sales. So it comes back to systems. And this is one of those areas you got to grow into it. You're not going to go into it. I tell people when I'm interviewing people, I'll be like, hey, listen, I'm going to talk to you today about jumping on the train with us. Now, just see this train, we're flying. The train is my company and a mile away from crashing. Just so you know.
That's good.
Further we've laid track, okay, but we're flying, so some of us are laying out ahead, laying down track, and there's other people on the train still fastening down seats. Like, it's just that. And the reason I start with that is because most people I talk to feel like they can't go hire somebody until everything is ready.
Yes.
Where I interviewed 2 people today. We're hiring now these are freelancers. We have a client that needs us to do something new we've never done before. And it's very complicated, technical, and I don't want to learn it. And we've never done it. So what I do is I always hire 2 people. I hire a consultant, and then I hire the person to do the fulfillment. I hire the consultant for like 2 hours, and I'll pay them. I use Upwork. That's my favorite platform to hire from. I'll be happy to pay them $100, $150 an hour.
Yeah.
Then I hire the person to implement it for us, and they're going to be at about $12 an hour for this, and I'll probably hire them for 40 hours. I can't afford 40 hours at $100 an hour, but I can at 12. Yeah. But since I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to provide management feedback and specific direction. So that's why I'll hire this consultant. So I always hire the consultant first. I hired them last week. And then one of the things I have them do is give me questions to ask to filter through the fulfillment person.
Smart.
So it's all about sitting back and going, this thing is holding me back. Let me build a system. Okay. So I haven't met a problem that doesn't have a solution that's not solved with a system. Just haven't ever met one. So when it comes to hiring, you kind of want to break it down into some chunks. So the first one is your recruiting. You have to have a system for recruiting. And what you had said a little bit ago, like what we're looking for, we always look for the exact same 3 things and do it in the exact same order. For a team member, this is a little bit different for a freelancer because I'm only bringing them in for I'm just bringing in the do thing. Okay.
Yeah, let's focus on the team member part, because I think we can kind of peel back from there into a freelancer. But I think the team members where I and others probably have more resistance. It's like, this feels heavy and permanent, and I've got all this responsibility for this team member. Yeah, please go ahead.
So in that, we want to hire for character first.
Okay.
Then chemistry/culture. Are they a chemistry fit, culture fit with the company and the person that's going to be leading them? And then we finally look at competency.
Okay.
Now, I'm fine somebody learning. I'm fine investing in somebody if they have high character and the chemistry is there. And so when we interview, when I was running the camp, it was about year 5, and it was the first year I had an assistant director. And after doing a couple of interviews, she came in and she's like, Eric, you have to stop doing the interviews. And I went, what do you mean? And she's like, you have to stop. You want everybody to love camp. And I went, yeah, I don't understand the problem. She goes, we need them to love doing housekeeping. Like you want them to love the place. And she's like, I need them to enjoy the work. And so we had this great conversation about, well, we need them to do both, really. But I was passionate on selling camp as I wanted people to walk out going, gosh, I hope I get the job. This would be a great place to work.
Yes.
She's going, I want them to walk out going, I can do this job. And so that was a huge learning time for me in figuring all of this out. So now when we hire, even when I was solo, I had friends of mine that were business owners. We do 3 rounds of interviews. The first interview, we interview for we interview for character. We're looking for character. And then, we just hired a junior web developer, and their leader was going to be our director of web services, Peter. And so I had somebody else on the team that knows Peter real well. I had this person interview our candidates for junior web developer to see if Peter and this person would get along. They were doing the chemistry interview. And afterwards, she was able to say a couple candidates like, that guy and Peter are not going to get along. Yeah, they're going to butt heads. And then the person we hired, she goes, they're going to get along. And they do. They get along wonderfully. And then the leader gets to do the competency interview and figure out, like, do I think this person's going to, am I going to be able to lead them well to do this? So having that system, hiring slow, taking time is all part of that. And there's a lot of things we do in there to test. We had 38 people apply for the consultant job last week when we posted it. 2 of the 38 followed our application instructions properly.
Wow.
They're the only 2 that got interviews. Within less than 30 minutes, I was able to take 38 some people. And I mean, it wasn't even that. I mean, most people I was able to decide within a few seconds because I just, so having that. Then we move to onboarding. Now, this is the one I want to take a second. I've got a resource for you when you're done.
We've kind of hit, just kind of like recap. So we've hit recruiting, character, chemistry, competency. You got 3 interviews. There's the recommendation there focused on each of those 3 things. And obviously there's a process to filter even before they get to the interview, but that recruiting is basically the hiring part. And now we're moving into onboarding, which I think is actually where many people screw up, including me in the past. So yeah, I got my antennas up for you, Eric. Go ahead.
Okay. So we've developed a self-onboarding dashboard.
Okay.
When we hire a team member, let's say, so you hire a team member in the first week, they're going to work 40 hours. You're going to need to give them about an hour of your time. And then the second week, they're going to show up to work ready to go. Nobody's got to stop what they're doing to train the new person, which is challenging in a remote setting, more challenging when you've got time zone constraints. But we've developed a self-guided onboarding that takes people through being new, bringing them through training on vision, mission, core values. Through the checklist, through the process, there's a way for them to create their LastPass accounts, and they have to go through training. We handle passwords. They have to submit, there's instructions to submit their headshot and their bio to the right person on the team so it gets on the website. And then we have a series of pre-recorded videos they watch and activities they do. But they're not just our videos. More than half of them we haven't created. We have a whole series of YouTube videos from other people that we have used and thought, well, that's really good. And we just have everybody watch it. Our project management system, like most software is a solution, most software services and apps you use, they're going to have their onboarding training videos. We require everybody to watch those, and you have to watch them. So what happens is about a year ago, we brought on board a new project manager, and she onboarded herself the first week. And week 2, she came into a team meeting. And because of the fact that we have some other systems in place, like everybody on the team got to know her, everybody on the team sends a welcome video to a new person. And so there's already that interaction happening. We have a virtual break room where things happen. We have all this stuff. So we're building camaraderie. We're building culture. So she shows up at the first meeting, very comfortable, ready to go. And we're talking through a challenge. And she goes, well, why don't we just use this, whatever it is, use this setting in Hive? And a couple of us kind of looked at each other around the Zoom. I went, well, what are you talking about? And she goes, well, that's a setting in Hive. That's our project management system. Here, they had come out with a new feature that none of us had bothered to read about.
Yeah.
But since she had just gone through this first generation, we call it first generation training. I want everybody on my team to get first generation training. Because if I train you how to do something, you're going to pick up some of my wobbles.
Yeah.
Then you turn around and train somebody, they're going to pick up my wobbles and yours.
Yep.
And by the 3rd or 4th person, it's a train wreck.
Yeah.
And so we take everybody back to first generation training, and this self-guided. So what I put together is a real quick, video walking people through ours, and then a template as well as a checklist of ideas. So I'm going to make that available to you and everybody. They can go through it. Because honestly, I think out of everything we do, the self-onboarding is the game changer to it all.
Love it. Yeah, I'm excited to get access to that. And I would agree, just based on your brief description here, like that is special. Like that's unique. I think a lot of people have different ideas on sourcing and the interview process and all that. But I honestly think the huge disconnect where we either lose people who are like, I don't know why I signed up to work here, or we lose our ability to really let them thrive is in the onboarding process. And I know I've been guilty of that because it feels like, oh, great. And this goes all the way back to my engineering days. Oh, great. I hired this amazing person and now I'm going to lose 2 weeks of my own productivity to make them. And then like every person I hire, I'm starting over from scratch and I like teach them all the same things and stand over their shoulder while they set up some login or whatever. I love the self onboarding idea. And it sounds like it is a investment basically where you do this once, and obviously maybe there's a little nuances depending on the role, but basically everyone goes through a similar self onboarding process. So as you continue to hire, you continue to gain back a lot of time by doing this once. Is that fair?
Yeah, but you grow into it, you don't go into it. When I first hired Peter, I think I had like 4 videos.
Okay.
Once, and then several, he was the first person. So I did do some of the things with him first time, but I recorded it. And now, so some of the videos are 5 years old, but it's still timeless.
Yeah.
But then, so I send a video every week to my team, and it's a training video, development. And once or twice a year, I'm going to add this to the self onboarding dashboard. Because I'm like, I want everybody in the future to see this. Not that the other ones aren't great. I have to be selective of people who are overwhelmed. And so I use those training videos over time to build that. But yeah, it's something you're going to build into. But if you're thinking about hiring, you can start creating some of these videos now.
Yeah.
Like, take 20 minutes tomorrow and create a video explaining the vision.
Yep.
And do it. That's it. You're done. Okay. Work. Next week, create another video that talks about your core values. If you don't have vision, mission, core values, don't hire anybody. Build those, get right first.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I won't go into what those are, but they're really important and you got to have them. So you've got recruiting, you got to have a system for recruiting.
Yep.
A system for onboarding. Then we have a system for delegating. And then the last system that is just leadership. Now you could call all of that, but in leadership, I mean meeting with people and getting feedback. We've got a weekly report that everybody submits that asks them not about their job, but about their workload, their stress level, their morale. And I track all of that so I can see as a company, what's the morale like? What's everybody's stress load? Like, am I the only one feeling stressed, or wow, did other people feel, is everybody feeling it right now?
Yeah.
And what's really great is on those questions, we'll ask, one of the questions is like, what was the biggest challenge you had to overcome this week? And people will share things like, it was really hard, my cat died.
Yeah.
And so now we're in this personal relationship with people and we're invested in their lives. And to me, that's a team.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. We have to do a part 2 in the future on some of these other systems, because I think there's an entire episode on recruiting, onboarding, delegation, and leadership. But I think it's good for now to talk about that's the framework here for leadership and the types of businesses that we run. And I really like that we keyed in heavily on the onboarding, self-onboarding, how that's the phrase you use as far as like not starting before you're finished. Like, what was the phrase?
You mean grow into it,
Yes.
don't into it?
Grow into it. Yes, I like that. Not go into it. Because I definitely fall guilty to that. There's some perfectionism where it's like, well, yeah, I should have a self-onboarding system. Well, that's going to, I got a lot of stuff I got to develop for that. So I won't hire until that's ready, right? But that's never going to be done because you have to have a first version of everything. And what I liked, an unlock for me that you shared there is 2 things. One is there's a lot of things you could be doing before you're even hired. I could finish up a sales call as an example, a serve call with someone and be like, that was perfect. Like, if I could do that every time, this would be so much easier. But now I have a recording of the call and I could be like, that's going in the onboarding. Do it like this. Or I see someone else talking about a sales strategy or some nuance thing that I'm like, that's something we should totally be doing. I capture that and I include it in here. But then, as you said, when you hire that next person, you can still kind of go through the manual process in a large way, but now you're recording it and you have it for the second person and the third person and the fourth person. It's all much more refined as you go. So I think that's an amazing leadership mindset here, is grow into it and, go ahead and start and get things moving. But when you have a system that you're building toward and you have a strategy overlying why this is important, then you'll actually get it done, and it removes a lot of the limiting beliefs, the fears, the things that and perfectionism, the things that tend to hold us back, where we just don't hire anyone because not everything's fully developed and perfect. And I've gained a lot of freedom from this conversation in the sense that hiring someone is not a dedication of all of my time to onboarding them, which I think is something I had before we hit record, which now I'm feeling a lot more free from. I'm like, no, there's some very creative ways to do this that's better, and it's better for me, and it's actually better for them. Right.
Yeah. I have recordings of webinars that we've done.
Yeah.
That it was a really good webinar, so we repurpose it as a replay or a lead magnet. Well, I just watch people. I have every new team member watch it, and we say, hey, you're going to watch this now to see how we speak to clients about what we do. Okay. Yeah. You're going to see the promises we make for or to our clients and that kind of stuff. And then the other thing I would say is, there's these really great people out there that are certified in OBM, online business management. You can hire one of them for 3 months to do all of this.
Yeah.
So there's that. And people, we have this thing, we call it the SOP vault. It's all of our C's and checklists, and we call them quacks, which is a quack is a quality control checklist. And so we have all of this stuff. I wrote one. I wrote the SOP, how to make Eric a cup of coffee. And I did it to show this is how, and then I recorded a video. This is how we make SOPs. And then I just started having my team. Hey, Peter, can you watch this? Now, make an SOP on that. And then the next, okay, make an SOP on that. And now everybody on my team, depending on their role, they have to contribute an SOP at least once a month, because it's just, or they have to repair one or fix one or something like that. So I think we have about 120 core processes documented. I did one.
I love that.
Yeah. So
it's continuous improvement. That also builds redundancy, because someone has a life circumstance change, they get hit by a bus, whatever. Not always the same people are going to be in the same seats. They very likely won't be. And it makes them better. This is something that we have with the team members we have. We're constantly let's make an SOP on that. And by we, I mean, you make an SOP on it. And the thing is, by requiring them to make an SOP, it actually makes them better, because, the best way to learn is to teach. And so if they have to sit down and formalize this and do a video on it and create a checklist, and of course we have AI and things to make that easier, they get a lot better at the process. And now we've got this internal wisdom in the company that the next person that sits in that seat can pick it up and have a major shortcut.